Hi guys and welcome to another video. I was originally planning to do a review of Legends Arceus, but by the time I started filming this video, it's already been over a month since the game dropped. So instead, I want to do something more interesting, and list the 5 best things about the game and the 5 worst things about the game. But keep in mind that I do think Legends Arceus is an amazing game. It's my favorite Pokemon game of all time, and in general, one of the most fun games I ever played. So the 5 best things about it reflect my opinions on the game the most. But the 5 worst things about it are also genuine criticism, even though some of the things on the list are kinda nitpicky and didn't affect my enjoyment of the game that much. But with that said, let's just get into the video. I'll start off with the 5 best things, and the first one is exploration. Even though all the areas are separate, and none of them are quite as big as the Breath of the Wild's overworld, whenever I enter a new area, I still get that same amazing feeling of exploration as I do while playing through Breath of the Wild. Just running through my deer through all of the new areas, seeing all of the new Pokemon and the different alphas that I know I probably can't catch right now, but will one day when I get better Pokeballs and better Pokemon, or just randomly coming across items or spiritomb waves. I do admit some parts of the overworld are kinda bland and empty, but they can be improved upon in future games. And I still get that amazing feeling of exploration that's probably one of the best feelings you can get while playing through a video game. Number 2. How much it differs to the Pokemon formula. Don't get me wrong, I love Pokemon games. Going to the professor's lab, getting your starter Pokemon, meeting your rival, then battling off the 8 gym leaders and the evil team, and becoming the champion of the region. But after you play through a few of them, you kinda feel like you're constantly playing through the same game, just with different Pokemon and a different story you probably don't even really care about. But Legends Arceus still feels like a Pokemon game, while also feeling completely different to the other Pokemon games. Now you play a character from Diamond and Pearl travels back in time to the past of the Sinnoh region. But that's not even the main difference. Is that while in most of the Pokemon games, especially the newer ones, it feels like you enter a cutscene, then you battle, then you enter another cutscene. Then you walk for like 20 meters, then you enter another cutscene. While in Legends Arceus, it's more like you do a cutscene, then you explore the overworld, catch new Pokemon and do requests for hours, until you want to go on to the next area and decide to continue with the story and battle another noble Pokemon. Or at least that's how I played it. It really feels like a great and very much needed breath of fresh air into the Pokemon series. Number 3. The side quests. I know this sounds like a pretty weird thing to be one of the 5 best things about Legends Arceus, especially considering that most of the side quests were catch this Pokemon, bring me this Pokemon, complete this Pokemon's Pokédex entry, or bring me these items. But when Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon dropped, the thing everybody praised the most were the little side missions or side stories you can do in the post-game. And in Legends Arceus, they finally returned, and in a much bigger way. And I hope they continue returning in future Pokemon games, because it feels really fun to just take a break from the main story and do side quests for a few hours. Even though if they appeared again in a future Pokemon game, there probably won't be over 100 side quests like there are in Legends Arceus. But I'd be satisfied even if there were just 20 or 30 side quests in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Number 4. The new Pokemon. All the Pokemon games are introduced in the middle of a generation either have no new Pokemon or just a few new Pokemon or Pokemon forms, except for Legends Arceus. Legends Arceus has a really good roster of new Pokemon, enough for every noble Pokemon to be either a completely new Pokemon or a Hisuian form, and for you to be able to use a good balanced team while just using the new Pokemon, which a lot of players, including me, actually did. Number 5. The quality of life improvements. Legends Arceus introduced a few new quality of life improvements and I haven't really thought about, but now that I've experienced them, I want them to stay in every future Pokemon game. because I mostly cut out the boring parts of Pokemon games and make them feel more fast-paced and fun. A good example of that is now that a Pokemon is ready to evolve, instead of just trying to evolve every time it levels up, you just get the option to evolve it in the menu. And that's useful if, for example, you still don't want to evolve your Pokemon. Now you don't have to go through the evolution cutscene and press B every time it levels up. Or if you already have a pre-evolution of a Pokemon you want to get, let's say for the Pokédex, and it's already right level, you don't have to level it up again in order for it to evolve. You can just evolve it right away, which is pretty useful. And another one is the new moves warning system. In Legends Arceus, when a Pokemon is able to learn a move, instead of just trying to learn it right away, it becomes one of the possible moves it can learn, along with all of the previous moves it had or the moves it has now. And you can change them anytime, which is useful for a couple of reasons. For example, you're leveling up a bunch of really weak Pokemon for the Pokédex. Now you will constantly get notifications that they're trying to learn a new move. But it can also be useful with your team members. Maybe you regret making it forget a certain move. Or maybe you thought of a good strategy for the next battle that requires a move you had it forget. And now you can just get it right back immediately. And now that I've listed the 5 best things about the game, I'll list the 5 worst things about the game. Starting with number 1, the story. To be honest, the story of Legends Arceus isn't worse than the story of most of the other Pokemon games, excluding Black and White and Black 2 and White 2. But it isn't much better either, and I kinda expected it to be better. Maybe because the game takes place in the past of the Sinnoh region, and there's so many mysteries, and even at the beginning of the game you talk to Arceus himself, which really had me excited that it's going to have a really interesting story, but it didn't. And the worst part of the story is the character dialogue. Most of it is really boring, so boring you can barely get through it. And there are a lot of cutscenes where a few characters just talk about a certain problem in the most boring way possible. And I think that could have been done better, and in a more interesting way. Number 2. The graphics. The graphics are the most talked about problem with Legends Arceus, and for a good reason. The game doesn't look awful, and does look better than any previous Pokemon game. But it still looks much worse than any other AAA game that came out in the last few years, or at least most of them. And even including Nintendo games, like Breath of the Wild or Super Mario Odyssey. And most of the areas in the game just look good enough that you don't really think about how good they look, and just enjoy the gameplay. Which kinda sucks, since beautiful areas can really enhance your immersion in the game. Another thing that really breaks my immersion of the game is that Pokemon, or even stuff in the overworld like trees and rocks, load as you go through the overworld. So often, you'll see a Pokemon or stuff like trees and rocks just appear out of thin air as you're riding on your Weirdeer, and especially as you're flying on your Braviary. Number 3. Very few trainer battles. Having Pokemon battles against other trainers is a really big part of every main series Pokemon game, while excluding Legends Arceus, since in this game there are very few Pokemon trainers. It wouldn't surprise me if there were routes in previous Pokemon games that had more trainers on them than there are in the entirety of Legends Arceus. And I realized that having more Pokemon trainers won't really make sense with the story of Legends Arceus, since in the past, almost every human was really scared of Pokemon, so there were very few people who even interacted with them. But maybe you would have a clan of Pokemon tamers that would randomly attack you while you were exploring the overworld, kinda in a similar way to the 3 bandits. But there would be more of them, and they would all have like at least 3 or 4 Pokemon, or even 5 or 6. I think that they could definitely think of some reason to include more Pokemon trainers if they really wanted to. Number 4. The new battling system. I realized how contradictory it is that in the last entry I talk about how I wanted more trainer battles, but now I talk about how I dislike the new battling system. But I don't know. When I first heard of Agile style and Strong style moves, I thought that could lead to some really interesting strategies. But after playing the game, I realized that it just leads to some really unfair battles. Your Pokemon could be much stronger than your opponent's Pokemon. But before the battle even starts, the opponent's Pokemon immediately attacks. Then you attack once, then the opponent's Pokemon uses an Agile style move and a Strong style move immediately after that, and KOs you. And not even get me started on the times that the opponent uses 3 Pokemon at the same time and you can only use 1. That's just so obviously unfair. But by far the worst thing they added to battling in this game is that the Pokemon get the XP of the entire battle at the end of the battle. So your one Pokemon could KO 5 of the opponent's Pokemon, but get KO'd by their 6 Pokemon, and it won't get any XP, which is just stupid, and I have no idea why they decided to include it. Number 5. Pokeballs not working when thrown from too far away. In this game, the arbitrary Pokeballs whose entire purpose is to be thrown from further away. Feather balls, wing balls, and jet balls. But for some reason, when they're thrown from too far away, they just bounce off the Pokemon and the Pokemon becomes angry. I think that's just unfair. You should be rewarded for being able to snipe a Pokemon from far away. But instead, you still have to get much closer. And often, just to be sure I get so close to the Pokemon, I could just use regular Pokeballs anyway. And also, I guess, a dishonorable mention is catching Pokemon in the water. It's almost impossible to catch Pokemon in water, you just have to hit them right on the top of their head, which is really annoying. And that's the list. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to click the like button, or maybe subscribe to my channel and ring the bell button, so you get notified when I upload another video. Also, leave me a comment telling me, are there other things about this game that you really liked or really disliked that I didn't mention? Or maybe there are some things on my list that you don't agree with me on, and I'd love to hear your opinions. If you still haven't played Legends Arceus, I highly recommend it. It's a really fun game, especially if you're a Pokemon fan. And you probably are if you're watching my videos. And that's all I have to say for now. So hope I'll see you again, and goodbye.